It's 2 a.m. on a weekend. Bars in the Five Points neighborhood in downtown Columbia, South Carolina are about to close, and college kids are pouring out onto the street. Samantha Josephson, a senior at the University of South Carolina, has decided to call it a night.
Samantha and her friends had decided to go out and kind of celebrate. School year was ending. They were all going to graduate and go their separate ways, so they kind of wanted to go and hang out.
An Uber is on the way to pick her up, but she's not sure which one is hers.
She tries to get into one car, and it's not her Uber. You clearly see some other people come up to that car, and she backs away. She continues to look at her phone.
Meanwhile, this Chevy Impala has been driving around in circles for several minutes.
He goes through the parking lot, and you can see the car. He kind of sits at the sidewalk, and he can see her get a second time try to get into the wrong car. He then jumps the curve to get to her really quickly.
Behind the wheel, a predator in search of prey.
And it is a black sedan, what she's looking for, and she gets into the back of the car, and he drives away.
Tragically, this is the last ride Samantha Sammy Josephson will ever take. The next morning, Sammy's friends check her room. She isn't in bed. They figure she may have crashed somewhere else. But when she doesn't show up at her job, they're alarmed. They track her iPhone, and they notice that during the night, it stopped pinging.
So they immediately start calling law enforcement. They call her parents to see if they know where she is. They call her boyfriend to see if maybe he came in town and that's who has her, and no one knows where she is.
That's when Seymour and Marcy Josephson get the most nightmarish phone call imaginable for any parent from Sammy's boyfriend, Greg.
So Marcy immediately called me. She goes, "Did you speak to Greg or any of the roommates?" I said, "No." "Why, what's up?" And she said, "Samantha's missing." I said, "Get home now. We're going straight down." I don't know what made me. It was just something in my gut. It was a panic.
Samantha was their baby. Growing up in New Jersey, she and her older sister played basketball, and Sammy also loved acting.
She always lit up the room. She had a great personality. She was a prankster.
And she was smart, planning to go to law school in the fall on a full scholarship. Now, as her parents head south, her father has a bad feeling.
I remember driving very, 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 very fast. At one point, South Carolina police called me saying, "All right, what's your ETA?" I hung up and I mumbled to myself saying, this is not good. This is not going to end well.
But it wasn't police who immediately went to work looking for Samantha. It was her friends. They initiate their own investigation, heading to the bar from the night before and asking to see their surveillance video.
And that is when we start learning that she got into the black sedan. Is you're able to see her in the bird dog with her friends, you're able to see her standing outside, and then you're able to see her get into this black sedan.
Her friends showed the footage to police, and they put out a bolo. Be on the lookout for the black sedan. But before they even locate it, a grisly discovery. Then, more than an hour away from Columbia, two hunters find Samantha's body in a field. As her parents arrive at the police station in Columbia, they're ushered straight into a conference room.
Nothing felt right. Everything felt way off and too cold. They had a table of a couple police officers, somebody from the university, and then the coroner. It's the worst nightmare.
The Josephsons now learn the horrifying truth. Once inside that vehicle the night before, Samantha couldn't get out. The driver had activated the child-proof locks. Then, at some point, he stabbed her over and over and over.
The coroner said that they stopped counting after 120 times because it didn't matter.
She is cut from head to toe. She has literally stab wounds from her head all the way down through her feet. She had evidence of defensive wounds from fighting. She also had cut marks to her chest, her body, but her cause of death was she bled out.
Samantha's wounds were so gruesome, her parents were not allowed to identify her. Who could be capable of this level of violence, and why? More importantly, where was this monster? It's only been a few hours since 2 hunters found Sammy's lifeless body in a rural area an hour from where she got into a vehicle she believed was a rideshare. Now police are on the lookout for that black Chevy Impala seen on surveillance footage near the bar. It didn't take long. Late Saturday night, there it is, a black Impala going the wrong way down a one-way street in the same neighborhood where Sammy was picked up the night before. Police pull the car over. Behind the wheel is 25-year-old Nathaniel Rowland.
As the law enforcement officer steps out of his car, walks up towards Nathaniel Rowland's car, he smells marijuana.
Who's smoking the marijuana?
I had smoked some earlier, sir, when I was at home.
All right, man, you have to step on out, man.
And he starts to try to tell him why he stopped him, and Nathaniel Rowland takes off.
Hey, get over here! Go and run it! Hey, I'm gonna release the dog!
I got him.
Get on the ground.
Stop me.
Police search Rowland's car but abruptly stop when they find some suspicious items, including a phone that turns out to belong to Sammy. Even more incriminating,
The back seat was covered in blood. There was blood in the floor mats and on the seat. There was blood on the ceiling. There was blood everywhere in that car.
and crime scene investigators find suspicious items needed to dispose of a body, including rope and Clorox. In the glove compartment, an envelope with an address and the name Maria on it. Maria turns out to be Rowland's girlfriend. She cooperates.
And as they are searching her house, they find what we called a multi-tool, but it essentially is a two-pronged knife that was covered with blood. They found his clothing, which had blood on it as well, and she started talking about things he had done all day that were indicators to her that something was going wrong.
Investigators arrest Nathaniel Rowland and charge him with kidnapping, murder, and possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. For the next 2+ years, prosecutors build their case, laying it all out for a jury. Images of Rowland hunting for a victim.
Nathaniel Rowland's Impala comes driving by as she's standing by herself, circling, lurking like a shark.
Surveillance photos of Rowland in the hours after he murdered Samantha. Cell phone records showing Rowland in New Zion, his hometown, where he disposed of Samantha's body.
This was a straight body dump.
And DNA evidence under Rowland's fingernails, in his car, on his clothes. But one piece of evidence will forever haunt prosecutor April Sampson.
Samantha fought. She fought for her life. And one of the things she did, and it will always be chilling to me, is she kicked the window and left her footprint on the window. And it just showed how hard she fought in that car. And we were able to match that footprint.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
After the jury found Nathaniel Rowland guilty on all counts, Judge Clifton Newman offered Rowland a chance to speak.
I know I'm innocent. But I guess what I know and what I think really doesn't matter.
And I'm not a small guy, I'm 6'2", 240, and I'm just thinking, how can I get to this son of a bitch?
After calling Rowland heartless, the judge rendered his verdict.
The sentence in this case is easy. The sentence of the court for murder is that you be committed to the State Department of Corrections for life.
Sammy's parents are on a mission to turn their tragedy into something positive. Their foundation, What's My Name, educates people about rideshare safety and holds annual fundraisers and events, including a 5K race to honor Samantha's memory. Samantha's family has been working closely with their congressman to create a federal Sammy's Law, which would make it mandatory for rideshare companies to issue a 4-digit PIN when a ride is ordered. The passenger tells the driver the PIN, and the driver can only start the ride once they enter that same PIN into the app on their phone. The passenger's phone vibrates when they match.
So it does 3 things. 1, it confirms that you're in the right car. B, It confirms that you're not getting into the wrong car, and it confirms that you're not getting into a car that's fake.
They've even enlisted celebrities to help get the word out.
Hi, I'm Jason Alexander.
I'm Darius Rucker. Before you get into the car, stop.
A is for ask.
Match the car and the license plate before you get in.
The I stands for inform.
It will never make things better, but the Josephsons hope it will make things safer.
What happened to Sammy should never happen again.
The Josephsons have managed to create a federal rideshare safety bill. Sammy's law requires rideshare vehicles to have placards in the front of the car, not just on the sides. And remember, before you get into a rideshare car, be sure to ask the driver, "What's my name?" If they don't have the answer, don't get in. For more information, go to whatsmyname.org.